Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. So, I've been studying something for about 6 months now, and it's really been ministering to me. And I understood that this was an instruction for me, and I received this instruction, and I want to share this instruction with you, okay, for 2023. I'm coming out of the book of Haggai, okay, chapter 2. It's full of a lot in there, you guys, and there's a lot I received out of it, but I'm going to try to narrow it down to this one little spot, this one little place to share with you, okay? Now, if you study out Haggai, depending on how far you go with it, take you to Nehemiah and some other places in the Bible, but it's a really good study. I hope you will do it because it'll empower you in ways and encourage you in ways that ah, words can't even express. So I'm gonna give you a little background on the story, and then I'm gonna show you the little part so that you can put the story in context, right? And then we're gonna dive in. So bear with me just for a little bit. Go on this journey with me. So the background is this: Israel had got exiled, right? And they were in Babylon now, and they were no longer in Jerusalem. And Jerusalem was destroyed, and the temple of God was destroyed. But the Lord had gave him a prophecy and told him that, at a certain time, after so many years, it will be rebuilt and you'll be able to return back, right? So the king that Nebuchadnezzar, who had actually sent them into exile, well, he's not king anymore. And so now there's a new king, and this king name is Cyrus. And Cyrus says, I want to send a remnant of the the Jews back to Israel to rebuild the temple of God. And he gave them all the stuff. There's so much in this, y'all. He gave them all the stuff that was taken from the temple, their original temple, gave it back to them and told them to go back and rebuild the temple of God. And here's all their treasures. He also gave them money and letters and gave them everything, the access to everything they needed to rebuild. It's a lot in that. But here is where we're gonna dive in, okay? So they had a lot of opposition, even though they had the king's permission to go and the king's approval. There were still people that came up against them, and they had a lot of opposition to try to stop them. There are so many times, you guys, where we have a lot in us. We're told we know what we need to do, but it does not mean that we're not going to have opposition, okay? So they had a lot of opposition, and it caused them to be afraid. We know about that, right? Things come up against us. We've been disappointed a lot of times. We went out and tried things for our health and been disappointed. And it make you afraid and make you not want to try no more or make you not want to do it anymore, right? And so that's what Israel was going through. And so they kind of stopped building for a while. But pay attention. This is where we come in. This is where we're focusing on. But the Lord sent a prophet named Haggai. And he said, Haggai, I have a message for you to go and give. And I want you to give this message to Zerubbabel, the governor, Joshua, the high priest, and all the people of the land. And here is our message. You want to hear it? The message said, be strong, right? And work. Be strong and work, for I am with you. Now, there's other parts of that message, but we're not going to get into it. We're going to talk about being strong and work. That's what we're going to focus in on today. Okay? So, when we're talking about being strong, we're talking about mental fortitude, emotional fortitude, spiritual fortitude, and physical fortitude. Okay? Now, you've got to have some mental and emotional fortitude because there are things that are going to come at us. You know this. can get up, set your goal. We talked about last month, we talked about aggressively pursuing your health. The month before that, January, we talked about how to reach any goal you have, how to make your life purposeful, right in the middle of all this that we're going through in our health, right? So you got your orders, you're going for it, you're motivated, you're ready, but it does not mean that things are not going to come at you. You will have opposition. Okay? You will have opposition. They had opposition with the blessing of the king. Who's going to go up against the king? But they still had opposition from the people of the land who are under the king. Okay? They still had opposition. So things are going to come at us. Things are going to come at us hard, and it can cause us to shake in our boots. It can cause us to fear, right? You can go in for a surgery that you know is the surgery you need, the surgery that's going to help you. You got that Noah that says that this is the way to go, but it doesn't mean you ain't scared. Doesn't mean that you are not afraid. But we have to have the fortitude to stand in the face of fear and to go anyway. That's called courage. So we have to be strong enough to stand in the face of fear, in the face of doubt. You know, just because you stand don't mean that you don't have unbelief sometimes. You can believe in God, but not believe in yourself. You can be afraid, so afraid and so unsure and so uncertain. There's a lot of fear that comes when you're moving forward because there's something in here. You know what you're supposed to do, even though everything around you is saying something opposite and you're moving forward. But it don't mean you're moving forward in surety. You can be moving forward totally unsure, and you have nothing to validate what you think you know. I've been there many a times, and I'm sure you have in some area in your life, especially when you're dealing with health issues, right? So we have to have a fortitude to be able to take a licking and keep on ticking, right? I wasn't planning on saying this, but I'm going to say this. So in the Balboa movie, right? Y'all know I told y'all last time that Rocky has a lot of motivational speeches. But Rocky was telling his son, right? I'm not even going to try to do my Rocky impression. It's hard to not do it, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try not to. But he told his son, he said, I'm going to tell you something you already know, right? He said, life ain't a bunch of sunshine and roses, right? He said, life will come at you hard and it will beat you down to your knees and try to keep you there, right? He said, but it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. He said, that's how winning is done. Woo, that makes me happy. Go, Rocky, go, right? Life will come at us hard. Things will come at us very hard, right? And it's going to hurt. And it'll have you shaking in your boots. It'll make you want to cry and curl up like a baby and be like, I ain't going out. Just suck your thumb and be like, it's over. I quit. I give up. But we cannot quit. We have got to be strong. Strong in our mind, strong in our spirit, strong in our emotions, and strong in our body. And it does not mean to be strong in your emotions that you don't cry. If you got to cry, cry, but keep going. If you want to scream, scream, but keep going. If you get angry, if you get mad, if you feel like whatever the gamut of emotions you can feel, I'm not saying don't feel them. Those are human things to feel. Feel them, right? But don't let them stop you from moving forward. Sometimes you got to cry while you go. We've all been there. I've been there many a times. You got to cry while you go and keep wiping them tears from your eyes because the sight is blurry, but you got to keep moving, okay? And sometimes you got to be physically strong. And we, going through health issues, you're not always physically strong, right? But that means we got to have some physical fortitude. I've told you about having to learn how to walk over and over again and trying to get up out of that bed. And I got all these people trying to lift me up out of that bed. And I'm trying to get just to stand. Seeing dots, pouring down in sweat, about to pass out just to stand up. And then after that, I'm knocked out for a whole day, sometimes many hours, right? Just to stand. And I had to keep doing that. And then I try to take a couple steps and need all that help. And it would be a big event, y'all, until I could walk to the door, till I could walk down the hallway, till I could walk outside, right? And I had to have the fortitude to keep getting up every day to try to stand, knowing I was going to pass out, knowing the pain I was going to go through, knowing all of that. But if I never did it, and if I didn't have the fortitude of doing that, y'all, I'd never be able to walk again. Then I wouldn't have been able to walk with my kids or play with my babies, right? So on the other side of that, there's a victory that comes, but you got to have fortitude to be able to withstand, to be able to endure, to get to the other side of that, right? It's not about how hard you get hit, or it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can take the hits, right? How hard the hits can come, how hard the hits are that you take, and keep moving forward. Yeah, ooh, it hurt, but keep moving forward, right? You ever see a boxing match? Oh, I'm going off. Lord help me, right? And they boxing and they got their hand up and they taking them hits, right? But they don't start backing up. They take them hits, but they keep coming in. You got to keep coming in with them hits. Protect yourself, right? Keep getting hit, but keep coming and swinging at the same time, right? You got to throw some blows yourself. We're going to move from there because I'm going to keep going and I'm trying to contain this, okay? We're trying to hit this part. So you got to be strong, right? In the face of fear, you got to keep moving. We've got to be strong and do the work. What is the work? Everything we talked about last video, everything we've been talking about all these years, right? That relentless rehabbing, that eating healthy, that educating yourself. Do the things you know you need to do for life. Now, I understand. Look, I got a family. I got a full family. We're trying to live life to the fullest, right smack dab in the midst of it. And I understand life gets busy. Life gets hard. There's all kind of stuff going on, right? I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. I'm a wife. I'm a friend. I'm a counselor. I'm a student. I'm me, right? There's a lot to who I am, just like there's a lot to who you are. And how do you, in the middle of everything that you're going through, not knowing where your health's going to be from one moment, or your energy from one moment to the next, how do you still maintain and do all the things you need to do for your family and for living while doing all the things you got to do for your health? It can be overwhelming. I know. I struggle with it. I juggle with it all the time. Sometimes I think I got it down, and then other times I feel like I'm drowning in it. It's a constant teeter-totter battle. I understand that. You understand that. We're all in this together, right? But we still got to do the work. So I'm going to share something with you that I'm doing now, but something that I did in the past and I've done at times. Now, I tell you, you guys know I plan, I use planners, I meal plan, I do all that stuff because, hey, if you want to get in what you got to get in, you ain't gonna get it just, off the cuff, right? You got to have a plan. And I do what I can do. I've talked to you about tweaking. Y'all can go back and watch some more videos, but I'm going to share a nugget with you. You ready? Here it is. So in the beginning of the serious crisis of health issues, there was a lot to the beginning, but when it got to that crisis, life-changing part, right? I was taking so much stuff. I was taking hundreds of pills a day. And in order to keep up with all I had to drink, all I had to eat, all I had to chew and swallow and shots and all that other stuff, in order to keep up with all of that, my husband had to type it all up, and we had to do a check sheet every day because that's too much to try to remember what I took, what I didn't take, did I do, did I not do, right? And my check sheet was a few pages long. but we had a check sheet so we can go through and check off every day. Okay? Because I'm gonna tell you what happens sometimes, and you know this, right? Sometimes you're not all where you need to be. It's foggy, it ain't all clear. Sometimes you in pain, things are going on, you're exhausted, you're weak, things are going, health things is happening, right? And it ain't always all that easy to be able to be clear in the moment of what needs to be done or what you had to do or what you need to do. So when you write it down, you got a checklist, then you ain't got to try to figure it out in the midst of all of that fog. And if someone's helping to take care of you, then they ain't got to try to figure out and remember. And y'all got to say, well, I did this, or did you do that for me, or did I do this for me? You ain't got all of that. You ain't got that confusion. You got a checklist. Okay? And that helps out so much because, you know, sometimes you vividly remember taking something or doing something, right? But then you forgot, you fell asleep, and that was yesterday, it wasn't today. And your caretaker can remember, oh, no, I seen you do it. And then y'all both go, oh, no, that was yesterday. We didn't do it today. Right? So write that stuff down. So like right now, I have my daily to-dos, my daily checklists, right? The things that I have to do for my health, the things that I need to take for my health. And then you just got to prioritize it and you got to make it happen. And I'm going to tell you something, it's really hard. I homeschool. I do a lot of stuff. I help my husband with the business as much as I can. And I do a lot of things. I'm always learning and educating. Okay? But I'm going to tell you something. Running a house is a whole business in and of itself if you're trying to do it right, right? And although I have legal things that I have to do because I'm homeschooling, right? And homeschool is a priority. It's not the number one. If I don't do the things for life and health, I'm not going to be able to homeschool. If I'm not here, I ain't going to be able to homeschool. So I can't put homeschool as the number one priority. I can do it, but maybe not the way that I want to do it because I need to make sure I'm doing the exercises and the stretches and taking the certain things and all the other things that I need to do. And so do you. Okay? So write you down a little list of the things that you need to do. Only the 911, only the things you need to get done for life and for health. All that other stuff, let the chips fall where they may. Okay? If dinner gets done, great. If it don't, we'll eat salad tonight. Okay? That's not the number one priority. The number one priority is do the things you have to do for life. So if you eat, you know, you're eating good, you're eating healthy, great, but it doesn't have to be a 9-course meal. Yeah, you want your house clean, but, you know, as long as it's sanitary, you're pretty good. It don't have to be, you know, spotless where you know, you can lick the walls. You just got to deal with some stuff sometimes. But put the main thing, the main thing. So in 2023, this year, be strong in your spirit. Be strong in your mind. Be strong in your body. Be strong in your emotions. And do the work. And don't let things that you've gone through in the past cause you to retreat, to draw back, or something that you heard of other people cause you to draw back, or let the words of other things and other people tell you to draw back. Be strong. Move in fear. Because in here, the Lord says, because I'm with you. And God being with you doesn't mean you're not going to have to endure. God being with you doesn't mean that things aren't going to come at you or that you won't be shaking in your boots. They're going to come. But if he says he's with you, that means he got you. I got your back. I'm holding you up. You going to make it through. You made it through a lot of things that you didn't think you were going to make it through. But you know why you made it? Because God was with you. And he's going to be with you even now. But I'm going to tell you this real quick, and then we're going to call this a day. Later on in that chapter, right? Well, throughout that chapter, he talks about, do you remember who here remembers this house in its former glory? Who remembers this temple in its former glory? He said, look at it now. Don't seem like much, right? Right? You remember yourself before you started going through at this level? Do you remember whatever time in your life you thought you were at your peak? Right? Look at yourself now. You may not be where you were. Right? But he says, I'm going to restore glory to this new house, to this new temple that you're building. Aggressively pursue your health. Be strong and do the work. God will restore the glory back in your life. Does that mean you're going to be back where you were? Does that mean, you're going to be the finest you was that you thought you was when you was, right? Does that mean that you're going to be bigger and better, or you're going to be faster or whatever? I don't know. What I do know is this. He going to restore the glory. It may not look the same. It may not be the same. But whatever it is, he said it's going to be better than it was then. So I'm telling you what I received and what I'm going for, right? And what I'm believing for. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. Aggressively pursue your health. Be strong and do the work, because God is with you. And this glory, it's going to be greater than the glory you thought you had in the past. Hope something in there was able to help you and encourage you. Remember, in all things, at all times, do you be you. Until next time, bye.